From crumbling asylums to ghostly graveyards, South Carolina is a state steeped in history and haunted by the restless spirits of its past. Join us as we uncover the 10 most haunted places in the Palmetto State, where chilling tales and eerie encounters await. Are you ready to face the unknown? Let's dive in. 1. The Old Exchange and Provost Dungeon, Charleston. Step into the shadows of Charleston's Old Exchange and Provost Dungeon, where the air grows heavy with the weight of centuries-old despair. Built in 1771, this stone fortress witnessed the darkest chapters of American history. Beneath its grand facade lies a chilling dungeon, once a prison for Revolutionary War soldiers, pirates, and traitors. The walls, damp and cold, seem to whisper the agonized cries of those who perished here. Visitors report eerie sensations, disembodied voices echoing through empty corridors, shadowy figures darting just out of sight, and an oppressive feeling of being watched. Legend speaks of a pirate, captured and left to rot in the darkness, whose restless spirit still roams the dungeon, clinking invisible chains. Others claim to hear the faint sobs of prisoners who took their last breath within these cursed walls. Dare you descend into the depths of the Provost Dungeon, where history and horror intertwine, and the past refuses to rest. 2nd, USS Yorktown, Mount Pleasant. Perched on the edge of Charleston Harbor, the USS Yorktown, a decommissioned World War II aircraft carrier, looms like a ghostly sentinel. Known as the Fighting Lady, this ship once roared with the sounds of war, but now it harbors a chilling silence, broken only by the whispers of the dead. Among its haunted decks, the spirit of a young sailor is said to wander, forever trapped in the engine room where he met his tragic end. Visitors and crew report hearing phantom footsteps echoing through empty corridors, the clanging of invisible tools, and faint cries that seem to rise from the depths of the ship. Some have even glimpsed the shadowy figure of the sailor, his face etched with sorrow, as he vanishes into thin air. The ship's dark history and the restless souls it holds make the USS Yorktown a floating nightmare, where the past refuses to sink into oblivion. Dare you step aboard and face the spirits that haunt this steel behemoth. 3rd, Poinsett Bridge, Greenville County. Deep in the misty woods of Greenville County stands the Poinsett Bridge, a haunting relic from 1820 and South Carolina's oldest surviving bridge. Its moss-covered stone arches stretch like skeletal fingers over a shadowy creek, shrouded in an eerie silence. By day, it's a picturesque landmark, but by night, it transforms into a gateway to the unknown. Locals whisper of a phantom hitchhiker, a spectral figure dressed in tattered 19th century clothing, who appears on the bridge, begging for a ride before vanishing into thin air. Others report glowing orbs floating above the water and disembodied whispers carried on the wind. Legend has it that the bridge was built on cursed land, and the spirits of those who died during its construction still linger, trapped between worlds. Dare you cross the Poinsett Bridge after dark, where the veil between the living and the dead grows thin, and the past reaches out to claim the unwary. Boo. 4th, Battery Carriage House Inn, Charleston. Nestled in the heart of historic Charleston, the Battery Carriage House Inn exudes southern charm by day, but by night, it becomes a playground for the paranormal. This elegant inn is home to 2 infamous spirits, each with a story that chills to the bone. The first, known as the Headless Torso, is believed to be the ghost of a Civil War soldier who took his own life. Guests have reported seeing his headless figure wandering the halls, radiating an aura of despair. The second spirit, dubbed the Gentleman, is far more mischievous. He's been known to sit on the edge of beds, his presence so real that guests have sworn they felt the mattress sink under his weight. Others have heard phantom footsteps, felt icy touches, and even seen objects move on their own. The inn's dark history and spectral residents make it a magnet for ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. Will you spend the night at the Battery Carriage House Inn, where the line between the living and the dead blurs and the past refuses to rest? Fifth, Old City Jail, Charleston. Step into the crumbling, foreboding walls of the Old City Jail. In Charleston, where the air is thick with the echoes of suffering and despair. Built in 1802, this grim structure housed some of the most dangerous criminals of its time, including the infamous Lavinia Fisher, South Carolina's first female serial killer. Her spirit is said to linger here, her ghostly laughter echoing through the empty cells as she taunts visitors with her chilling presence. But Lavinia is not alone. The jail is a hotbed of paranormal activity, with reports of shadowy figures darting through the corridors, disembodied screams piercing the silence, and cold spots that freeze the soul. Some say the spirits of prisoners who died within these walls still roam the halls, their anguished cries a testament to their torment. Dare you explore the Old City Jail, where the past is alive with pain and the dead refuse to be forgotten? 6. Alice Flagg's grave, All Saints Church, Pawleys Island. Tucked away in the serene grounds of All Saints Church in Pawleys Island lies a grave that pulses with heartbreak and mystery, the resting place of Alice Flagg. Her story is one of tragic love, a young woman from a wealthy family who fell for a lowly lumberman. Forbidden to marry him, Alice wore his ring on a ribbon around her neck, a secret token of her devotion. When her family discovered it, they forced her to remove it, and she fell gravely ill, dying soon after. Her spirit, unable to find peace, is said to wander the cemetery, searching for her lost ring. Visitors report seeing a ghostly figure in a flowing white dress, her face etched with sorrow. Others feel an inexplicable chill or hear faint whispers carried on the wind. Some even claim to see the ribbon she once wore, fluttering in the moonlight. Will you visit Alice's grave, where love and loss intertwine, and the past reaches out to touch the living? 7. Abbeville Opera House, Abbeville. In the quaint town of Abbeville stands the Abbeville Opera House, a historic theater with a dark and ghostly secret. Built in 1908, this elegant venue is said to be haunted by the spirit of a stagehand named Charlie, who tragically died during its construction. Charlie's presence is far from subtle. Phantom footsteps echo backstage, lights flicker without explanation, and props move on their own, as if guided by an unseen hand. Performers and visitors alike have reported hearing faint whispers and feeling an icy breath on their necks, even when alone. Some claim to see Charlie's shadowy figure tinkering with equipment, forever bound to the theater he helped build. The opera house's eerie atmosphere is heightened by the occasional sound of phantom applause, as if an invisible audience still lingers in the seats. Dare you step into the Abbeville Opera House, where the line between performer and specter blurs, and the past takes center stage. 8. Atalaya Castle, Huntington Beach State Park. Rising like a specter from the coastal mists of Huntington Beach State Park, Atalaya Castle is a haunting relic of the past. Built in the 1930s as the winter home of Archer Huntington and his sculptor wife, Anna Hyatt Huntington, this sprawling Moorish-style fortress now stands abandoned, its halls echoing with ghostly whispers. Anna's spirit is said to roam the castle, her presence felt in the artist's studio, where the faint scent of clay and the sound of phantom chisels still linger. But Anna is not alone. During World War II, the castle was repurposed as a radar station, and the cries of soldiers who perished here are said to echo through its empty corridors. Visitors report shadowy figures darting through the courtyards, cold spots that freeze the soul, and the distant sound of footsteps on crumbling stone. Dare you explore Atalaya Castle, where art, war, and the supernatural collide, and the past refuses to fade into the shadows. 9. South Carolina State Hospital, Columbia. In the heart of Columbia looms the decaying skeleton of the South Carolina State Hospital, once known as the Bull Street Asylum. Opened in 1828, this sprawling complex housed thousands of patients, many of whom endured unimaginable suffering. Today, its crumbling buildings are a haunting reminder of its dark past. Visitors and paranormal investigators report chilling encounters, shadowy figures darting through abandoned hallways, disembodied screams echoing from empty rooms, and the faint sound of weeping that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Some claim to feel the oppressive weight of despair, as if the spirits of former patients still linger, trapped in a world of torment. The hospital's eerie atmosphere is heightened by its labyrinthine corridors and shattered windows, where the wind howls like a mournful cry. Dare you step inside the South Carolina State Hospital, where the line between the living and the dead dissolves, and the past screams to be heard? 10th. Unitarian Church Graveyard, Charleston. Hidden in the heart of Charleston, the Unitarian Church Graveyard is a place where time stands still and the dead refuse to rest. This ancient cemetery, overgrown with twisting vines and moss-covered tombstones, exudes an eerie Gothic beauty. But beneath its tranquil surface lies a world of restless spirits. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures flitting between the graves, their forms dissolving into the mist. Whispers drift on the air, though no living soul is near, and cold spots chill the bones of those who dare to wander its paths. The graveyard is said to be haunted by the spirits of those buried here, their unrest fueled by the church's progressive history in a city steeped in tradition. Some claim to feel unseen, hands brush against them, while others hear the faint tolling of a phantom bell. Will you brave the Unitarian Church Graveyard, where the veil between worlds is thin and the past reaches out to touch the present? South Carolina's haunted history is as rich as it is terrifying. From the shadowy halls of the Old City Jail to the restless spirits of the Unitarian Church Graveyard, these locations remind us that the past is never truly buried. If you dare to explore, tread carefully. You might just bring something back with you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-chilling adventures.